4Sides TV. Today we have a special discussion on Delhi's alarming air catastrophe. With us we have Mr. Sudhakar Sharma, the editor of 4Sides TV English. Welcome sir, welcome to 4Sides Studio. Sir, what is the staggering issue particularly in Delhi, and what are the serious conditions in Delhi?
Yeah, definitely it is very interesting because of late we have seen that the Delhi government and even the government of India are very serious and very conscious about what is happening at Delhi. Delhi happens to be geographically positioned quite interestingly. We have the two parts which are making the entire place of Delhi. It is having the river Yamuna plains on one side and the ridge which really forms a part of the Aravalli ranges which have their origin at Rajasthan. So Delhi's geographical positioning is quite a thing which really determines the entire climate of that place. The close proximity to the Thar desert has got overwhelming effect on Delhi. Added to that, the very conditions, the human activity is progressing in such a way that they are clearly deviating from what has been set, and that really is showing up in the air quality, which is always nowadays in winter it is touching 450 and above. The air quality index is really alarming and hazardous because anything above 400 is dubbed as really very dangerous. And the world report also shows that Delhi has been dubbed as one of the worst affected cities as far as the climate is concerned. Why has such a precarious condition is touching upon the place of Delhi, especially when we look at the Delhi from a political point of view or a geographical point of view or from industrial point of view or from technology point of view? There are various angles and viewpoints which clearly lead us to one thing, that the element of pollution has been really staggering. It has been escalating to such an extent that it becomes really impossible nowadays to bring it to the normalcy, especially during winter season. And we will see in course of our discussion as to what factors have contributed really into making such a condition over Delhi. We will progress as we do the interview.
Yeah, so what are the primary factors for this unwelcome climate scenario in Delhi?
Definitely, as you have said, this is most unwelcoming, I would say, because everyone in Delhi is really paying heavy price. The children, the vulnerable sections, the aged people, and really the employees and the have-nots who have to really go out and fetch something for the family are really affected. When we really look at the common man, Aam Aadmi, he is really affected because he has to go out and seek something, eke out a learning, eke out a kind of living for his family. And he is really straining himself too much because he is overwhelmed by a kind of blanket of haze and smog which is really dangerous for his respiratory system as well as for the eyes and for other major organs. And you have seen that the WHO has said that the normal proportion which a human being can tolerate has been violated by the Delhi climate 21 times, which is really unthinkable. So the Delhi government and government of India are really thinking about the human conditions and as to how we have to bring back. Already a major plan has been underway, and we had seen that some meeting has taken place even yesterday also, because the government officials are pretty well sure that if this continues it could lead to unthinkable damage to everyone. And now I would say the parameters which really determine such a kind of catastrophe could be mainly the animal agricultural activities which are around the periphery of Delhi. Actually, when we see the geographical content of Delhi, it has close by Haryana and Punjab, and you have the places like Ghaziabad, and you have UP, some villages in UP. There, the traditional practice is to burn the biomass. It is called stubble. So, after the agricultural harvest, they used to burn the stubble, and that fire causes a kind of aerosols which are really trapped by the winds which are flowing towards Delhi. So that I would say it is because of a kind of natural effect also is inducing this. Otherwise, we don't see such a kind of alarming increase. The aerosols are driven towards Delhi by the slow moving winds, and these aerosols are getting trapped over the climate of Delhi by the low temperatures. And since 1985, we have seen that Delhi government has been maintaining a kind of record which clearly shows that the low temperatures have become the predominant characteristic of Delhi. And that is really truly a thing which everyone has to really think about, because such low temperatures will really induce the aerosols, airborne particulates to stay over that place. They don't move. And this has created a kind of catastrophe, and everyone is paying heavy price towards it. And added to that, every day so many vehicles are getting added to the traffic, already over congested traffic of New Delhi and its adjacent areas like Noida is there, Faridabad is there. Everywhere you see that the vehicles are getting added up, and that's why the government has taken a wonderful decision. It has said that we have to necessarily go for CNGs only. If CNGs are there, even the registration rate has become very less. It is only to induce people to go more and more towards CNG. And diesel also, it is on the verge of being really thrown away from all roads, because anything connected with the diesel really creates a lot of problems, not only for the traffic but also for the climate eventually. That is why there is a kind of inducement towards transformation into CNGs. And even the petrol car also are really, they are being minimized to the extent possible, and the emphasis is only on such fuels which cause less amount of aerosols. And the third factor which really makes Delhi such a vulnerable place is the industrial activity which is surrounding the Delhi. That industrial activity has gone to such an extent that it is giving a kind of negative effect over the entire place of Delhi and the adjacent regions. These three predominant factors have made the climate and the place has become such a dangerous place, habitat for everyone to live. And not only in this respect, I would like to mention that not only the human beings, even the other species, the animals are also really having a tough time in Delhi, because already the winters in Delhi are very severe, as you all know. Added to that, this pollution makes visibility a real problem, a real challenge. That's why the pilots are often complaining that they are not able to locate the aerodrome, locate the track to ground the aeroplane properly. And the case is same with the loco pilots also, who are driving the trains, because the visibility rate is such a low that they are not able to judge the signal also properly. All these things are happening, and recently we have heard about a case near Yamuna Express Highway where nearly 25 cars have collided with each other because of the thick blanket of the smog. They couldn't see, and there was a kind of continuous accident taking place, unaware of what is before. And this type of things have driven everyone to the conclusion that the climate has to be controlled, the particulates have to be controlled, and this particular aerosol activity has to be brought down. And in this respect, I would say that the worst thing is the real life activity of the people of Delhi also, because there they have to necessarily make use of heaters, other electric and electronic gadgets. Especially they have to make use of the ACs. AC releases really a lot of carbon footprint. And the vehicular traffic also, emissions from industries, all these things have multiplied the carbon footprint in New Delhi, and that has led to this eventuality. We call it air catastrophe.
Yeah, sir. So, what message does this scenario convey to the country?
Yeah, definitely, because such an alarming thing definitely sends an inherent message. The message for everyone is that it is now happening at Delhi. Please listen to this. This is now happening at Delhi, but it could take place anywhere. This is a warning by the nature that if the living activities of the people are not changed, if they deviate from the set laws of the country, or if they really transgress the pollution rules of the country, and if they act in a ways contrary to the functioning of the very nature, they would really pay a heavy price. So to start with, we are seeing such an activity at Delhi. It could happen because Delhi is a landlocked place as such, and it could happen to Bengaluru also, or it could happen to Hyderabad also in future, because they are all landlocked places. If you see the coastal places like Mumbai, or if you see any coastal other place like Chennai, there, though the carbon footprint is more, though the emissions are more, though the aerosols are more, they are having the advantage of the sea. That coast is really guarding them. So most of them are driven towards the sea, driven towards that water source. But when the situation is in a landlocked place, it is really difficult, because there it stays, it gets stagnated. That is why the people who are in Lucknow or in Hyderabad or in Bengaluru or in any other landlocked place have to really be conscious about what would happen in future, because this is really a terrible thing. Already we have seen that the lifespan of the people in Delhi has come down by as much as 11.9 years. So the average lifespan has been cut short by 1.09 years. This is really quite alarming. We have to really act up to this particular type of thing which is happening at Delhi, provide the Delhiites with the necessary thing to combat with the thing which is present there. At the same time, the other places in India as well as across the world, we have to take up the stand that we really go along with the nature, never deviate from the nature, because whenever we try to transgress the real principles of nature, we will have to really combat such a situation which is happening at Delhi. That's why I request everyone, governments across the world, to really abide by the principles. That's why the climate change has attracted the attention of the globe of late, and so many COPs are taking place, and the coming up COP 28 is at Dubai in November, this month only. So all these things very clearly tell us that the effect of the climate is very dangerous. It would prove lethal to the humanity. That is why we have to be conscious, and we have to learn the lesson from Delhi to rechange, to readapt our lives in such a fashion that we make our place clean and evergreen.
Sir, as you have told now, the degrees, the levels in air quality are higher in Delhi. So how these gets normalized?
Yeah, it's really an interesting thing, ma, because renormalization is the necessity, but it really takes a lot of time, because already so much has happened, so much of water has flown. So we have to take stringent measures to bring the renormalcy position. We have to really take off all the diesel and petrol vehicles off the road, which is really a very difficult thing to start with. And we have to only impose CNG buses or CNG vehicles to ply on the road. Second thing is, we have to maintain carpooling. Actually, nowadays everyone is going by one single car. So that is not the right thing for Delhi to happen. We have to the people should go in groups. That would really facilitate. Second thing is, road system should be made very easy for the traffic to move, because once they are stationed at some place or they are struck at some signal, it would really mean a lot for the Delhi. And the other thing is, even the festivals have to be performed, they have to be celebrated in a restrained manner, because Delhi situation is very bad. It is in a kind of ICO. We call it very, very difficult situation. So they should not celebrate festivals like Diwali, like how they were doing before. They have to minimize the activity. They can light the lamps, but with respect to crackers, it would be very difficult for the Delhi climate to tolerate this time. And the other thing is, they have to really keep the emission filters for all the industrial applications. Thereby, whatever the aerosols are there, they will be filtered at source, and only the clean air will be sent, clean emission will be sent out. The other thing is, we have to search some alternative for this stubble burning also. Already some agricultural officials are planning for a kind of latest state of the art machinery whereby they can really clear the problem of stubble burning and go for the alternative. So all these things have to take place in tandem with each other. If they happen very soon, then we can see Delhi springing back to normalcy, and that would be the day we are all looking for.
Sir, as a whole, what is your view on the dwindling conditions of India, in particular with Delhi?
Yes, definitely. Actually, when we see the problem of Delhi's air catastrophe, naturally what comes to our mind is what would happen if the same scenario happens in other places in our country. So the government of India has to take stringent measures. The policy making has to be there. There should be a kind of national policy whereby every entity must abide by that pollution free practices, either in pharmacy or in any other kind of industrial application. The measures, the clearance certification has to be very, very methodical. Actually, some lapses we have been seeing, the legalization has to be very perfect. Then, added to that, we have to really take it in a conscious way. Every Indian should take it up as a kind of national challenge that I would abide by the policy of pollution free India. So he has to consciously prepare himself. He should not throw away the litter. He has to minimize using the air conditioners. He has to minimize utilization of those gadgets which release carbon. So we have to adapt more to the public transport. And when we are really using our own vehicles, we have to see that they are more of CNG by nature. So this type of measures, if you take continuously, over a period of time, they will have a wonderful result. Added to that, everyone must have awareness. Our children must be really told about all these things, because if children are given the opportunity to get themselves involved into such activities, they would really become a kind of energetic instruments to really apply themselves in bringing the situation to normalcy. Everywhere, all sections of the people and all age groups must involve in this particular task to make this program a grand success. Then definitely you would find that the pollution levels would come down naturally, and you will see a kind of India which is really rising and which is really pollution free, and that would be a great boon not only to India, because nowadays the globe is a kind of interconnected thing. Everywhere you see that if some war is taking place in between Israel and Hamas, it would have its effect upon India also. If there is a war going on between Russia and Ukraine, that would have some kind of effect upon us. Likewise, if there is a kind of imbalance in India, definitely this imbalance would show its negative effects not only in India but everywhere in the world. So when we are doing something positive about our country, we are not only doing to our country, we are doing to every place on the planet. So we are in a combined way trying to make this planet a safer habitat for everyone. That's why it's our humble request through this program for everyone to be conscious, really conscious about what is happening, because the days we are passing through now are really a kind of challenging ones. Our posterity, the future generations have to really have a safer place for themselves. The small children must have a safe place, safe habitat for making their own life, like how our ancestors have given to us. It is our bounden duty to give such a pristine, pure planet to the future generations, and that would be a great service to the entire place.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable time and letting us understand and reminding us our responsibilities and taking this catastrophe very seriously. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Well, that's all for the day. Keep watching 4sides TV for more interesting topics. Signing off, Anjali.